Welcome to Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy. And this is where characters gather. This week was a busy reading week. I got a lot read. I enjoyed what I read for the most part. And there were some definite misses. So let's talk about the misses first. This week I DNF'd 4 books. The first 2 were middle grades. And the first one was The Mystery of the Tea Drinker by Burl Davidson. This was an arc from NetGalley. And I DNF'd it probably less than a quarter of the way through. The protagonist in this book was into self-mutilation, and there were child abandonment issues, and I would not recommend this book to any parent who has middle grade children. The tone and tenor of this book was wrong for me in its entirety. The next book I DNF'd this week was from the library. It was an ebook, and that was Splendor and Glooms by Laura Ann Schlitz. This was supposed to be a gothic middle grade mystery. It didn't work for me. I was bored. Main characters weren't enjoyable. They weren't anything I wanted to continue to read, so I just DNF'd it. I was fine with that. The next 2 I DNF'd were both arcs from NetGalley. They are both from the same author, Tamara Berry. They are books 2 and books 3 in the By the Book series. I will not be continuing this series. The second book is On Spine of Death, and the third book is Murder Off the Books. These were unreadable. The Belle of the Masquerade Ball theme continues. I didn't even start the third book, I'm going to be honest. It's just a flat out DNF. I couldn't get through the first quarter of book 2. I was just over it. Book 2 opens, and our protagonist, Tess, has had herself tied up in the basement so she can work out something for her latest thriller novel, which is fine. That's perfectly reasonable. Except upstairs, there's demolition going on directly above her head, and the floor collapses, burying Tess. And oh my word, bodies are once again raining from the sky on Tess. I was done. Didn't care. The premise of a cozy as a genre is not to be completely unbelievable. And yet, once again, book 2 opens completely unbelievably. I was done. That series is over for me, and I'm fine with it. If you love it, that's great, but don't try and sell me on it. There's just nothing to be had. Next up are 3 middle grade reads. They are in no particular order. So I will start with the one that has been on my TBR the longest. It satisfies a 2023 reading goal for me. That is The Hobbit by Tolkien. This was a very good book. This is also a book that is, as an adult reader, difficult to read in the sense that you already know the story so well. You are anticipating everything that happens in the story. And thus some of the magic and the wonder and the mystery of the charm of the story is gone. And that's very sad. I'm hoping that if I reread The Hobbit at some point in my life, I will have been so distant from it, some of that will come back. We will see. Next up was book 2 in the Dark is Rising sequence by Susan Cooper. And this one is entitled The Dark is Rising. So, what makes this series unique amongst series is that each book deals with a separate set of children and their families. This one follows the Stanton kid, specifically Will Stanton, who turns 11 in the book, and Will's connection to the light and the old gods, and how that influences the course of his future, unbeknownst to him. This is a series I highly recommend. It is accessible for kids. It isn't like anything I've ever read before. The books all have the same theme running throughout them so far, which is good. They will be a challenging read for younger middle graders, and there is a definite moral to the story, which I like, which I think is appropriate for children of this age. Next up, I read on my Kindle from the library, The Keeper of Lost Cities by Kate Messenger. It is the first in the Lost Cities series. Mouthful with only one cup of coffee. And I will be doing an unpopular opinion video here this week shortly for this book. It is an easy 5-star for me. And it is an easy... Wait for the video. It's definitely going to be an unpopular opinion video. Trust me. So, trying to think if that's all I read last week. I know that's all I finished last week. I had lots of starts and stops. I have stuff still in progress. In progress, I have All the Lost Places by Amanda Dykes. This is a library book. I'm about a quarter to a third of the way through this. This is highly enjoyable historical fiction. It takes place in Venice. Old books are involved. There's a mystery. It's a romp through time that I'm loving immensely. Just immensely loving it. That's pretty much what I read last week. So what am I going to read this week? I'm going to finish the Amanda Dykes book. Then I'm going to read the Silence in the Library by Catherine Schulman, which is book 2 in the Lily Adler mystery series. I have book 3 on my NetGalley Arcs waiting for me to review it. It should be a quick, easy, fun read for me. And then next up for middle grade March, I am going to read Recorder by Kathy McCrum. This is book 1 in the Consortium, Children of the Consortium series. I know that book 2 is out. Book 3 is not out yet. Book 3 is not out yet. I have several NetGalley arcs I'd like to get through this week. And if all goes well, I'm probably going to reward myself with a Lost Cities book if it's available from library. I also need to pick up our new book club selection. So that's what I read this week. What did you read last week? What are you looking forward to reading this week? Please comment down below. And as always, my blog will be linked in the description with reviews. Please like and subscribe and share this video. And I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.